This is Twit.
Microsoft's holding a press event in San Francisco next week, March 27th, where Satya Nadella is going to be the host.
Oh, we got to go to that. We got to go to that.
It's focused on the intersection of cloud and mobile. Very mysterious, right? But my sources have been telling me for the past month plus that Microsoft's goal was to get Office for the iPad out before the end of March. So we're getting down to the wire. It looks like this might be where they announce it.
Wow, that's exciting.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that product will in some ways be thematically like OneNote for the Mac, in the sense that in its initial version, it might not be as, full, certainly won't be as full-featured as it will eventually become. But, the Microsoft of old would have waited until it was as ready as it, used to should be, or whatever. That makes sense. That the 1.0 release would have been more full-featured and would have been a year later or something. That maybe this one will come out and, we don't know what form it will take.
Right. I mean, if you guys remember this, we've been hearing leaks about this product existing for 2 or 3 years now, right? Like people said they've seen it. I've talked to so many people who say, I've actually seen it.
Yeah, fake shots, or we don't know, real shots
or
maybe.
Maybe real.
Have made the rounds.
Yep. So I think this product's been done for a while. And I think they've been probably wrangling with Apple about that 30% cut that Apple would take if it were going through the iTunes store, which it will be. So probably there's been some worry about that. But my sources were saying earlier this year that even at the end of his tenure, Steve Ballmer had decided that, you know what, we're not going to wait for the Windows version of the Touch First apps, and we're going to go out first with Office for iPad. So a lot of people are saying this was Satya Nadella's choice. And ultimately, obviously it is, but it wasn't some new thing that he put in place from what I heard. I heard that this was something Ballmer actually decided to do, and now it's coming to fruition.
Wow.
It's not the type of thing they could have turned around in 30 days.
Obviously not.
Right.
Obviously not. And it would be, so if, so the Apple 30% issue, how do they resolve that? Give it away?
Yeah. I mean,
they pay 30%.
They pay it.
Yeah.
And they charge 30%
depends,
more?
Right? Well, here's what we don't know. Is it going to be free?
Right.
That's right. So, I mean, you assume it's going to be attached to a 365 subscription. So
I
obviously,
think you have to subscribe,
that,
right?
Yeah. If you acquire that from outside of Apple's, closed garden there, you're not paying Apple anything. But if you want, in other words, you run the app, you don't have Office 365, and it says, hey, by the way, you need Office 365. It's probably not coincidental. They just announced Office 365 Personal, which, you might imagine a lot of iPad users might want to get so that they could run this thing.
Right.
If you do it from within the app, that you would get the 30% VIG from Apple.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot like Office Mobile for iPhone, which is that way, right? It's a free app, but you have to have an Office 365 subscription to use it. And I bet this will be something like that. And, if you look at what they just did with OneNote for the Mac and OneNote for Windows, especially the new free version, they're doing this thing where they give you a free version and you can download it from the respective stores. But if you want the extra set of features, then you have to either get a subscription or pay more to buy a higher level license. I bet we're going to see something like that.
And I think I'm not 100% sure about this one, because maybe because I haven't actually installed the free version on Windows. But the free version on the Mac, you have to sign into a Microsoft account, and it attaches to your OneDrive storage.
OneDrive, yep, I think it does too. The Windows.
Yeah, so like the paid version on Windows, that's not a requirement. I mean, you can use it as kind of a standalone app that I almost call it a PST file. Your OneNote notes or whatever could be stored locally, conceivably. Although that's not the preferred way to do it, but they'll have that kind of requirement as well.
Yeah. You also, with the free version for Windows, you're missing some features that you get with the paid version, right? So you don't have the Outlook integration, you don't have the SharePoint support, you don't have version history. And so they're kind of making this tier, right? It's free, but if you want all these extra things, integration with Outlook, for example, you have to pay. It's not free.
Yeah. And also, it should be noted, it's free for licensing purposes, free for personal use. It's free for students. free for individuals. But if you're a business, you're supposed to be, you're supposed to be paying for Office in some capacity, whether it's an Office 365 subscription or licensing Office or OneNote. I guess you could do that separately. Otherwise,
Cool.
Yeah, so I'm also betting there could be some distinctions with when they come out with Office for iPad around licensing, right? If there is a free version, this free version might be for home and personal use only. And then if you want to use this in a business setting, you have to pay for some kind of a higher level subscription or pay for the suite.
I bet they tie it to Office 365.
Yeah, for sure.
They just came out with that personal version that will launch in April. Right. That makes sense for maybe the iPad version, Office version
right.
to launch.
Yeah.
They have one PC, one tablet. One tablet right now is a Windows tablet. One tablet could very easily become iPad or Windows tablet.